So last time I came here, I'd actually just decided to sell internationally the brand. I mean, I'd sold already in Greece, I'd sold in Kuwait, I'd sold a bit in Australia. But what I'd actually did do is open up in Milan and in Rome with the Queen department stores. They met me here at Pure, and they looked internationally about 120 brands, and they had 3 openings. So they were looking, you know, maybe for a French brand, an American brand, and an English brand. So through the avenue of coming here, you know, our brand is quite established. We've got 28 shops and concessions. But I started off myself alone with my sister's help 25 years ago. And we slowly grew the brand. So what happened was we knew our marketplace. We knew exactly where we wanted to sell. We knew that James Lakeland as a brand would sit very well next to Max Mara, Ralph Lauren, Hugo Boss, Twin Set by Simone Barbieri. The price point was the correct price point. So when we pitched ourselves to the Queen department stores, we said, this is our price point. This is where we sit in London. This is where we sit in Glasgow. This is where we sit in Ireland. These are the shops that we have, and this is our product. We do not sit well next to young fashion. We do not sit well next to classic fashion. So we knew our position directly where our competitors were and where it would sit well within the department store. Now, obviously, if you want to sell abroad, there is a number of options that you can take. First of all, is your brand an accessories brand, women's wear, jewellery? Is it a big brand, a small brand? You've got to really decide what you want to do with your brand. Once you've decided the market that you hit, you have to find either one, department stores who will work with you and who will major up with you, or an agent who will sell to independent boutiques. In my case, I didn't want to sell to the small independent boutiques, which would be around Italy, because the economy was quite difficult. So I wanted to go with department stores, which I knew turned over about 400–500 million euros, and financially would be secure. I know a lot of brands have launched into different markets and they've had problems with payments. These are all things which are very important. You know, for example, you want to sell in America. The American market loves British or European brands. But to sell in America, I've been to America. I've had meetings with Lord & Taylor. I had meetings with Saks Fifth Avenue. We've also had meetings with Bloomingdale's. They are looking for a certain markup. So I went to Bloomingdale's, I met the fashion director. She wanted to have a 400% markup guaranteed. So if she bought $1 million, you've got to sell it for $4 million. She needs to make $3 million profit. If she didn't sell it for that price, you would have to sign a contract making up the difference. This can destroy your business. So you need to be very, very clear when you're entering a foreign market, who you're working with and what their markup is. So, for example, they were going to put me in an amazing position in Bloomingdale's. We're going to be opposite Reiss. They had an area which was Reiss, LK Bennett, Max & Co., which is one of the Max Mara brands. So there's all kind of Alice & Olivia, which is a very funky American brand. And they wanted to give us about 500 square feet. I knew, looking at the market in New York, with the discounting that they do in America, because America is very discount-driven, that it would be very difficult in the first season to carry that sort of discount and to do that sort of turnover. At the same time, when I went to Milan and I saw the way that the store operates in Milan, you know, Queen is similar to Bloomingdale's in terms of who they stock. I knew that there we would have more chance. In fact, in the first 4 months, we covered their minimum guarantee and we made a profit. So you really need to select who you decide that you want to work with. Sometimes it's very exciting. I remember, you know, Harvey Nichols was one of the first stores that came to see me when I started up my collection. Absolutely, you know, it was a massive accolade. I was so excited. I think I didn't sleep for a week before and I didn't sleep for a week after. But what was the reality? The reality is they wanted to buy 50 pieces. I wasn't allowed to sell to anybody else in London. I was an emerging designer. And actually, I wasn't allowed to sell to Harrods, I wasn't allowed to sell to Selfridges, I wasn't allowed to sell to any independent boutiques. And I had to make a choice. So I chose not to sell to Harvey Nichols, although I would have loved to have sold there because I decided I was going to sell with Harrods, with Selfridges, with Fenwick and Brent Cross, with House of Fraser, and I've been in all of those store groups. And those are decisions which you have to make, because when a brand starts, if you're a startup company, everybody in fashion is very fickle, so they love to see the latest new name or the latest new talent or the latest new brand, which might be worn by someone who's a little bit famous, or, you know, it's a little bit quirky, it's different. We're all looking for something which is new. Once you pass the first and second season, it tips. And the reality is, a brand becomes strong and gets a following when it gives consistency. To be the coolest and the hottest is always to be the worst, because you're cool and you go down. You're the hottest, they don't want you anymore. You go straight up and it falls. So either you are a luxury brand, and the luxury brands are Chanel, Louis Vuitton, Prada, Gucci, and between them they fight. So you had the Prada bag in the 90s, was the icon bag. Everybody wanted the Prada fabric bag. That's what every woman wanted. In came Gucci with Tom Ford. That overtook. Gucci bag became the bag of the season. In comes John Galliano with his fashion shows at Christian Dior. They were the most effective. They were the hottest ticket in town. The John Galliano show, people would have paid anything to go to those shows. That lasted a number of seasons. He then had his little mishap in Paris. No one wanted to go. In walks the Chanel handbag. At the moment, it is about Chanel. You go to London, you go to Paris, you go to Milan, you go to New York. The it bag would be, they're queuing up in Chanel at the moment. That is for the moment. I think Chanel will always be strong. Everybody has their moment. That's on the luxury level. It's the same on startup levels. You want to start exporting, you've got to give something which the market doesn't have. I see opportunity in all areas of the market. There's massive opportunities in menswear at the moment. I'm seeing it because the market is so restricted. You've either got luxury, you've got classic, or you've got a few of the trend brands, but not enough. So there's a lot of space, I think, in menswear. Accessories. I buy accessories for my stores. I go around and nothing stands out to me. You need to do things that stand out, which are different, which are not available. Your competition will be Zara. Your competition will be Next. Your competition will be Debenhams. People go to Debenhams and then they go and buy a designer handbag. People might go to Primark to buy a vest, you know, or a basic, and then they will go to the changing room or somewhere like that, a trendy, super trendy shop to get something which is different. So you need to be very aware. You have to think out the box. If you think stable and you think boring, it doesn't work. If you think safe, it doesn't work. As retailers in the last 5 years, I've noticed with the recession, some brands have zoomed ahead, some shops have zoomed ahead, and other brands have just died a death. The reason for that is that the market is quite available and very introspective at the moment. What do I mean by that? You can go out and you can buy something online. You can go out and you can buy something in a store. We are very much led by discount, but people aren't just looking for discounted stock. Women are looking, I talk about women because obviously that's my market. Women are looking for excitement. So when they go into Zara, they're not actually going into Zara because there's a sale. They're going into Zara to see the hottest picks. Zara have a turnaround of 10 days. You go in and the shop floor is different. So you've got to go in, you've got to get it quick, you've got to get your piece, and then it's out. And that's the way that it's working. I think that Zara as a brand, obviously they've become one of the biggest retailers in the world. I think people are Zara'd out a bit. All women have gone into Zara at some stage. They bought a lot of it. They want something which is a little bit different. I saw this definitely in the 80s with Benetton. Benetton was like the first iconic, let's call it Zara kind of brand. You know, everybody wanted the Benetton sweaters. I worked in Benetton. I was 16 years old. I folded all the sweaters in the colors. And that's where I started loving the knitwear and actually the consistency of having everything super neat and organized. It was exciting. On a Saturday in Hampstead, I would sell in a shop, 600 square feet, £10,000. Nowadays, that's not easy. That is not easy. So really, that was very exciting what Benetton launched. Then Benetton made their money, and they didn't actually modernize what they were doing. So in came H&M, in came Zara, and they became worldwide brands. But these brands are set up by men or women. Actually, Benetton was a brother, two brothers, and I think a sister, Juliana Benetton, and two brothers, three of them, three or four, I can't remember exactly. They started a little knitwear company, and they grew worldwide. The same with Zara. One man and his wife, they had a concept, and they went worldwide. Boden, another example. A husband and wife sitting in their kitchen at home, deciding we're going to do something via catalogues. You've got to have the idea. You've got to think of where you want to go, what you would like to create. So at the moment, the hats with the pompons and the fur, I think the whole of London, the whole of UK have been wearing them with real or with fake fur. What is going to be the next accessory for next year? That's what you've got to think. Because people come and say, oh, let's buy that same hat. The customers have bought them. Yes, they might buy some more next year, but the customer is looking for something different. That's what they're looking for. And you need to understand what your market is. So, for example, when I'm selling in Italy, I know full well that the spring-summer collection is going to be very, very strong. So when I actually do my collections, I do one collection for the UK, something else which I sell in Italy, which I can then also sell in Greece, in Spain, in Portugal. I split my collection so that I can do something online, something for mainland Europe, and something for the more northern parts of Europe. The same if I go to Australia. We did a bit of business with Australia with a group called Target, which is a bit like Marks and Spencer's. We for them, did 5 different styles. We sold on their internet, and we understood what their market is. So the possibilities to export are numerous. People are looking for new brands. People are looking for new opportunity. But you need to be very focused about where you are going to market your product and how you're going to go about it.